Cool, cool. So the Ritualists, Christian Dryden. Let's go back to your, I guess your album Painted People in
Okay.
2019. Um, you had a German release. Is that a German label you were on?
That's right. Before we get started, how would you like me to address you?
Brian.
Brian's cool? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
everybody has little foibles, I just wanted to make sure
Right.
we're on the same page, Brian. Thanks. So regarding the first record, Painted People, yes. We were signed to a label called Out of Line,
Uh-huh.
based out of Berlin, Germany. They're about a mid-sized label. They're a good label.
Okay. Cool. Cool. How was that received?
I think it was received well. There was a controversy surrounding the video for the first single
Right.
off the record, Ice Flower,
Uh-huh.
which is really the song that enamored them with the band. They heard that song in a mix of a bunch of other music that was presented to them, and they were drawn to it. And they kind of wanted to expand their genre
Right.
outreach
Uh-huh.
because I mean they're pretty much primarily industrial, dark
Right.
industrial,
Mhm.
and they wanted to get into like the post punk sort of vibe and sign a New York band, and we were that band. And I think they wanted a very New York video kind of featuring the band.
Right.
I wasn't aware of this at the time, and there was sort of a go-between
Mhm.
who presented the video ideas to me. And my first response when I saw the video ideas was like, "Did this person even read the lyrics to Ice Flower?" Because the video has nothing to do with the song. I don't know if you've seen the video.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was
Um,
watching a whole bunch of videos this morning.
okay, so it's the one with the wrestlers.
Okay, cool.
Um, so
Mhm.
I was like, I don't really. I mean, I think wrestling's cool. I love professional wrestling, but I didn't think it really suited the vibe of the band or the song. Um, Unbeknownst to me, the label felt the same way. Um, but they thought we wanted that video, and then the video got made, and the video looks beautiful, and it was a very, very expensive video. But I think that sort of was sort of a crack in the relationship.
Right.
It created an obstacle moving forward, and then COVID hit,
Right.
and we weren't even able to tour the record. So it was sort of a series of unfortunate events.
Right.
Um,
Cool, cool. Now, the next album, Baroque and Bleeding, came out in 2021, 2022. Now,
yes.
was it originally an independent release? Because, like, when I was reading this morning, Discog had it under no label, and then like I looked at other places, and then it said you did have a label. One said you only put it out on vinyl. So, tell me the whole story about that album.
Okay, so that was recorded during the pandemic, which was an interesting experience, and that was put out by Suite 484,
Okay,
which is a New York City-based label,
right.
and all the recording was done through them, and Ed Buller was brought in to co-produce and mix the record.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, did you tour with like Blondie or the Dolls, or did you just collaborated with them?
We've done collaborations and we've done some shows together with different members of the band.
Right,
I had the thrill. There was a New York Dolls sort of tribute event where the entire band, minus Johansson, unfortunately,
right.
at the time, performed a whole bunch of Dolls songs, and I got to front the band and I
Mhm.
performed Frankenstein, which
Oh,
was a
that was
lot of fun.
yeah. I bet you was. You know,
Yeah, definitely one of the most like New York things I've ever done.
right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I used to hang out in the village and stuff like that, and St. Mark's Sound and all them places. Don't forget, I'm like way older than you are. So I was born in '58, so I'm going to be 67 this
Oh
year.
wow! Well, you
So
look great.
yeah, thanks. So yeah, I hung out like CBGB's, the Cat Club,
Mhm.
and I was a photographer. So like I got to photograph all different kind of bands and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit. The sound of the band to me really has a style of Duran Duran. When I was listening to the stuff, and I was reading that you're also influenced by T Rex.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm such an Anglophile with the music, and I think the band is very Duran Duran is definitely an influence. T-Rex is definitely an influence. Suede, I don't know if
Uh,
you're familiar with them, an English band from
yes.
the early
Oh,
'90s.
yeah.
Um, Absolutely an influence. So yeah, you caught all the sort of the
Cool.
vibes we're sending out.
Cool. Cool. Now, were you born in New York?
I was actually born in New Jersey, very close to New
Uh-huh.
York City,
That's where
right
I am
after.
now, New Jersey. You
Oh,
know.
nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was going to say, I don't know how you could afford living in New York. It's so damn expensive. I know Jersey's getting to be just as bad.
It's
Like
crazy.
apartment's like 3 grand now here. So like and I don't even go into New York no more because it costs a mint just to go over the bridge or the tunnel and stuff like that, and then that congestion thing going on, and
Yeah, the congestion's ridiculous.
right,
Yes,
truly is, truly is.
it's hurting everybody. It's hurting the bars. It's hurting the clubs. It's absolutely hurting the artists.
Now with the music of today's day, do your style's like way different than what's really out there right now. So you're kind of unique in
Hmm.
your own way. And like when I heard The Awake, that blew me away, that song. That
Thank you.
song, do you know right away, like a song like that is a priority for you guys?
That's it's interesting you should say that. So I wrote that song and I presented it to the band, and they actually weren't even that jazzed about it when they first heard it.
Wow.
My keyboardist Jeffrey was. He loved
Uh,
it. He's, oh,
yeah.
I can work with this.
Uh,
Um, so it took some convincing to get the guys to go along with it.
uh,
Um, but we had finished every other track on the record, and
right.
the wake was sort of still being mixed. And I said to Mario McNulty, the producer, and I
Right.
said to the band, I said, this song has to go on this record. It is a priority to me. So
Right.
you're absolutely right in catching good ear.
Yeah,
That was a
definitely.
priority, and that was the last song we tracked for the record as well. And I intentionally pushed to get that to make the cut on there.
Cool, cool. Definitely when listening to the album, I mean, I really listened to the album. So like, when you picked The Awake to be, I guess, like the headline song, you picked the
Hmm.
right one, you know,
Thank you.
definitely picked the right one because that song's amazing, especially when you see the video and like, it's definitely all the essence all together in that video, and it clicks right with the video, the way the song is and the sound in New York, and it's right there on the money, you know.
Oh, that's so great that you feel that way about it. I agree.
Yeah. Cool.
But I'm happy we were able to get that across. Hypnodoll directed and styled it, and Alex, that Russian guy he goes
Right.
by in New
Yeah.
York, amazing cinematographer and camera guy. He shot the video, and we were really happy with the way it came out.
Cool, cool. The new album, Too Pure to Cure, April 22nd on Suite 484 again. So
Yeah,
that'll be released, and make sure everybody supports it and stuff like that. Let's go down some of the tracks and tell me your feelings towards each song and stuff like that.
sure.
Especially, well, do we really have to talk about The Awake? It's the best song on the album, you know.
Well, defined best. Why do
Um,
you why do you think it's the best song on the album?
I just when watching the video, listen to the lyrics, the way you moved in the video, the style, and they know you're from New York. It fits right with New York style to me. I'm a New
Okay.
Yorker, so like the song fits everything, and I enjoyed it. And I played it more than once, over and over and over again, and I tell my friends and stuff. I said, check this video, it's cool, like,
Oh, that's
oh yeah, I
awesome.
like
Well,
that, so like it's cool, you know. But we can talk
very
about it.
very
Tell
cool.
me a little bit about it.
So the wake, it's funny with songwriting because I play multiple instruments.
Mhm.
I've written stuff on the bass, I've written stuff on the drums, and sometimes a vocal melody will just come to me, and usually it comes to me, to be honest with you, when I'm in the shower.
Mhm.
For some reason, it's like I'm like really relaxed. I'm
Uh-huh.
not thinking about anything, and then this, an idea will just dawn on me, and I came out of the shower singing that chorus,
Uh-huh.
And I said to myself, oh, I think this has potential. And then I got onto my drum machine and picked up the bass and started to write verses
Mhm.
around that chorus. And the chorus to me was reminiscent of like the in the 80s there was like a thing where they did like a lot of dark young adult fantasy, I should say.
Right.
The Never Ending Story, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth,
Mhm.
all of these films, and they had these interesting like new wave soundtracks, particularly The Never Ending Story with Lamal's amazing vocal on that one. So I thought of that, and I thought about, the way you feel when you are a kid about things, how the highs are so super high and the
Mhm.
lows can be so low, but then they kind of like dissipate like that. It's not this, I don't feel like you dwell on things the same way. Maybe it's almost like a natural evolutionary sort of defense mechanism we've evolved to have.
Right.
But the wake touches on that. And some people I feel like are just as resilient when they're adults,
Right.
even the horrible things happen to them. And that's sort of me wondering about that, and wanting to sort of be that type of adult who doesn't forget, the way I was able to sort of be resilient when I was a kid, when I'm dealing with adversity as an adult.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Tell me a little bit about You Knew Better.
Okay, you know better. So that was me really pushing the band, like, let's go like dark disco,
Right.
and that was written around a bass line. I was messing around on the bass and just grooving. And I felt really good about a couple of the lines I had, and I introduced them to the band. Of course, we sped it up a bit and sort of built the song around that. That one, I think, when you reference Duran Duran, that one probably has the most blatant sort of Duran vibes, but I can definitely I think I put my own spin on it, particularly with the way I'm phrasing the vocals.
Cool. 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 How about King of Air?
King of Air is a song that is about a dream that I have repeatedly, where I've sort of discovered this this way to sort of float.
Right.
And I'm trying to explain to everyone around me, my friends, my family, even strangers, that if they breathe a certain way, they'll actually be able to levitate and their lives will be so much better. And
Right.
no one believes me. And I spend my time like floating around. And I think it's sort of indicative of the feeling of not being understood as an artist.
Right.
So I sort of played with those ideas, and that's how that song sort of came about.
Cool. Cool. How about 1,000 Tears?
A Thousand Tears is probably the most whimsical song on the record. I think I tried to harken back to give it a bit of a 60s vibe. I think that
Right.
song has kind of a 60s groove to it. The vocals very croony, conjuring a bit of Morrissey there. And it's sort of, I mean, it's sort of about, I don't want to say failed relationships, but again, obstacles that certain individuals sort of deal with, and me sort of being in awe of how they've dealt with them.
Cool. Cool. How about Too Pure to Cure?
Too Pure to Cure is sort of autobiographical. That's sort of about my feeling like an outsider growing up, and accepting, you know, this is who I am, what I am, this is what I do.
Right.
And it's not like, a lot of those songs, every band I think has one of those, and a lot of times it ends up just being a big middle finger. I think this one's just sort of about like accepting it, this is who I
Right.
am. I'm not going to change.
Cool. Cool. Is this coming out on vinyl too?
It is. It
Oh,
is. It'll
okay.
all come out on April 22nd. Yeah.
Cool. 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 Side B. Every little tread.
Every little thread. That's one of my favorites on the record. I think Mario McNulty, he had his hands full with the. There's so many tracks on that song, and he pieced it together like a magician and an architect at the same time. And I was really happy with the way it came out. I think that song is a great representation. If you were to say, this is sort of the sound of the Ritualists. So this is their spin on everything. I think that's a great little encapsulation of the sound of the band.
How about Sweet Despair?
Sweet Despair, I guess, is probably the closest thing we come to sort of a ballad on the record, although it's not that
Right.
laid back. It's a challenging one to sing. I enjoyed, tracking it. Tracking the vocals on that one was a lot of fun. And that song started with that chorus riff, and I'd had that for like 2 years, and I just couldn't put anything with it. And then one day, it just all kind of came together, and I was pretty happy with the result.
Cool, cool. Erotically Erratic.
Erotically Erratic is about a lover who frustrates you, but
That's all the time.
she's just so cute you can't resist, and that one is I was trying out another bass technique on that one that I'd sort of picked up from learning during the pandemic. John Taylor from Duran Duran was releasing these sort of bass tutorial videos, and I had nothing to do, so I learned Rio, and he's using this sort of technique with his fingers, and I'm trying to do the same technique on this one. I mean, the song is not Rio at all, but it uses those same sort of techniques.
Cool, cool. How about the Plastic Crusade?
The Plastic Crusade, that was sort of the first single we went with on this record. I think it's a little bit of an outlier. It's harder rock than the other stuff, but I think it owes itself most to like a Scary Monsters era Bowie tune, which is what I sort of gather from it. And that's about hypocrisy in all forms, especially the kind that you see online with wild virtue signaling of every stripe. And it's entertaining in a way, but it's also sad, and that's sort of what that song's about.
Cool, cool. And the last track, Play the Sparrow.
Play the Sparrow. That was one of the last ones we recorded, and we knew when we'd finished it that this would be a good way to close a record. It has an awesome guitar solo at the end by our guitar player David Andriana, and we kind of went crazy there. I mean, I think it has it has some of the dark, moody stuff that we do throughout the record, but it also has the arps and the synthy breakdowns that we also have. So I think it's a good sort of way to bookend the record.
Right. Over my last I would say 20 interviews, a lot of bands are putting out only singles lately, and then at the very end putting out an album. Is there a reason for that?
Well, I mean, one of the reasons is it's less expensive. It's less expensive to record 3 songs and promote 3 songs than it is to push 10.
Right.
I don't know though. I mean, I guess I'm a bit old school. Like, I think the album is like, it's a cool snapshot of where the artists are at that point in time, and it can take you on a little journey. Not that it's not a concept record by any stretch, but I think the way we're doing it is we've done the singles, so we've done 3 singles so far. We'll probably do one just like focal point song that we'll put out with the release of the full length, and I think having the full length records at the shows is also a great alternate means of income. Definitely. And you can sell it for more than you can a single, and it's not much more expensive to press a full LP than it is a 45 or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Your preference would be download, vinyl, or CD. What would you pick?
As a buyer, or to have someone purchase, as for me to own?
Yeah.
When I really like something, I always get it on vinyl. I use the online stuff, like I'll use Spotify or whatever to figure out if I really like something, sort of like an advertisement for a record. And then if I like it, I'll go and I'll make a point to order it, or if I can, attend the show and buy it directly from the artist. Right. I think that's really the best way to do it. But everybody has their own sort of way of doing things. I don't think it sounds as good when you just listen to it online. I think it sounds better when you put it on your system.
Definitely.
With a record.
Definitely. How often do you guys play out?
Well, we try not to oversaturate our backyard in New York. So we do
Definitely.
New York about once a month,
Hmm.
once every 2 months.
Right.
And we do tours, like we do pretty well in the South. So
Mhm.
we do East Coast tours about twice a year.
Right. Cool.
And we always try to have something new to bring down there when we go.
Right.
Um, our next one is going to be at the end of April, actually. The gentleman who painted our portraits for this record, which are going to be featured on the record, is doing an art exhibition in Wilson, North Carolina. That's where his studio is. So we're going to go down there. We're going to play for his exhibition, and then we're going to do a few shows in the North Carolina area.
Cool. Cool. You have any merchandise you like to talk about where people can buy it?
Yeah. We have T-shirts, we have records, we have comic books. A comic book was made to go along with all the lyrics of our prior record, Baroque and Bleeding. I collaborated with an incredible artist. Her name is Alexandra Vladescu. She's from Romania, actually, and she put incredible imagery to go along with the lyrics. All of that stuff is available directly on our website, and it's just theritualists.com. Very easy. You can get there through portals on our Facebook and our Instagram as well. So I encourage everyone to do that. The more stuff you guys buy, the more it enables us to write songs and put music out.
Cool. Cool. Do you feel like you reached your personal goal as a musician?
No. um, I mean, as a songwriter, I feel like this new record is definitely a step up as a
Uh,
songwriter. I always think I can do better and top myself, and I think I'd like to believe that the albums are evidence of that. I think Baroque is a bit better than Painted People, and this one will be a bit better than Baroque. Um, as far as reaching our potential, I think that um, I think if more people are exposed to this kind of music, which they're not being right now,
right.
the music industry is not friendly to rock and roll.
Right.
Uh, and I think if we find ways to get it out there, I think we'll reach new heights with this stuff. And I'm not just speaking for me. I
Right.
think speaking for a lot of rock, excellent musicians who are doing this stuff, who aren't getting their due.
Cool. Cool. Do you feel you really need a label anymore?
That's an excellent question. Um, I mean, I think a label does provide certain things, especially if you're younger and you don't know the ropes. I mean, a label is going to help with promotion.
Mhm.
That's really the most important thing, is to have people listening to your stuff, to have people like you doing interviews with us. It's very hard as a new band to know how to navigate those waters
Mhm.
of PR campaigns and when to press the record, when to put the record out, how to book a tour, which venues are best, which venues will give you the right guarantees. So I mean, doing it, excuse me, doing it on your own can be great, um, if you strike internet gold and your song goes viral or your video goes viral, and then that will open a ton of doors, and I encourage that. But being able to navigate all of those elements on the other side, the business side, I'll say, the sad business side of music, is very hard for a band to do. While also writing songs and performing, it's asking a lot. So in that respect, I guess a label, or at least a really good manager, a really hands-on manager, is good to have.
Cool. Cool. Well, definitely your press people are doing their job because they're the ones who contacted me. I get between 200 and 300 emails a day
Oh wow.
of bands trying to get noticed. I mean, and I listen to every one of them, not the whole album, but I'll listen to different tracks on all the albums and say, oh, I like that. And when once I heard The Awake, I said, I want to interview these guys. So like
Well,
whoever
thank
she
you.
is, she's doing her job, or him, you know.
I'm honored. That's well, it's Ravi PR,
Uh-huh.
and it's Heather, actually, is the one who
Yes.
probably
Yep. Yes, yes,
connected
yep,
with you, and
yes.
she's doing, they always do a great job. We've worked with them on every release we've done, and we will continue working with them. They're wonderful people.
Cool, cool. So what are your hopes once this album's released?
World domination.
Yeah, I would love that too, right? Yeah.
No, I mean, I would really like to hook up with some like-minded bands and do like a really impactful, full-on national tour and get this stuff out there to new places we haven't gone before. That's that's a step we'd like to take with the band. Obviously, more streams, more album sales, more views. I think this stuff warrants it. I think it's better than the stuff we've done before. So those are the goals.
Cool, cool. Well, Christian, it was great talking to you, Ritualistics, and amazing album. Keep on rocking. And would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Sure, Brian. Thank you very much. I'm honored that you had me. I was one of the you picked me out of the hundreds that you get every day, which is really cool to know. And to all of the painted people out there, I love you. And to those, the uninitiated, please check us out, theritualists.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. And if you are going to be in the New York area this summer, we're playing a huge album release party at Our Wicked Lady in Brooklyn on the rooftop. It's a fantastic venue. So that's on 6/7, the Ritualists at Our Wicked Lady. Love to see you there.
Cool, cool. Thanks a lot, Christian.
Thanks, Brian. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.